Good morning, guys. It's a pleasure to connect with you. I remember my times when I was about to graduate in 2011, when when the last recession happened, and we were also in a scope and trying to understand how the job market would be. I graduated from GC in 2011, so there was a peak time when recession had just gone off, faded off, and the market was starting to pick again. So I understand your scenario at this point, and I'll try my best to address your concerns. Melina ma'am sent me some of the topics you would want to be enlightened on. The first topic was COVID-19 and the future of information technology. We were talking about the start for the IT industry in India. The business was never here. Business was out in the US where the boom started, and then across Europe and other continents. While India had the resources, and there was a cost difference why this boom happened. They the foreign countries had the resources, but they were coming at a much higher price than the resources in India. And we had many because of the efforts of TCS working with the IIT Bombay right from the start. The number of engineers were many in India. We took this advantage and we started getting business to India. Now, what happened here is the cost difference continued for a long time. We had the first recession. We went out of it. We then moved to to the beginning of 2018 when it was clear that the recession is coming back. Now, Corona did not get the recession. It exposed and made it come faster than expected. This scenario would have come in a year's time. It just made it worse, a little more worse, but it was existing. Now, what happens due to COVID is in the US, if we consider, there is going to be stringent restrictions on the business visas. US government is not going to accept more visas from here on. They have increased unemployment rates, and this is the election year. So you need to understand that that is going to be a direct impact on the Indian IT sector. We are going to have job cuts. The salaries, the salary ratio is going to come down drastically. So the impact will be there, and it will be there for at least 3 to 4 years, 3 years from here on. That is when we will start normalizing back again. It is not a permanent impact, but it is for a couple of years that we are going to face these issues until we expect the fresh government in the US to start accepting the visas back again. Number two, if you don't give Indians the business visas to go and work from the US, then the difference between hiring an engineer directly from India or hiring an engineer from Philippines is the same. Because any which ways, even the US engineers right now are working from home. Even the local native engineers are working from home. And the companies are fast adopting to this scenario of working from home. TCS and major companies have already announced that even post-COVID scenario, they are going to be continuing to work from home. Now, this changes a lot of aspects which you need to understand as an IT engineer or a computer engineer. The real estate utilization changes drastically. If 10 major companies in India decide that even 50% of their workforce works from home, which means that the entire Indian, the distribution of technological companies in India changes. People can work from anywhere. You could be hired by a company in Bangalore, but you could still be working in India, working out of Goa, or a company in the US, but you will still be working out of Goa. You don't have to move out. All the companies were trying to adapt to this in the next 10 years. Even we were trying to, as company, Genora, we were trying to have at least 30% of the people working from home on a daily basis. But we thought this would be possible in next couple of years or 3 or 4 years. But we are thankful to COVID scenario in this aspect, that it speeded up the process of work from home, and you as an engineer are also going to benefit from this. In the US, people would be more comfortable outsourcing to India. Then there's a point where you asked me to address about freelancers and startup companies. Just some people are messaging. Just one second. Okay, leave it. So I will address this point, how remote work is going to affect the freelancers in India or any other countries. But right now, there is going to be an increase in the jobs in India. Although people traveling to the US or traveling to this foreign countries would reduce, many would come back and not go back to US again. But the jobs that are outsourced from US to India will increase because they are used to remote working. And a company in New Jersey remote outsourcing to South Carolina is the same as a company in New Jersey remote outsourcing to India or Philippines. So number of these jobs are going to increase, but the pay scale is not going to increase for at least 3 years from here on. Pay scales are going to be the same, because understand one thing, software industry works with other allied businesses. They don't work with other software companies as such. You need other businesses and the economy to grow, and they will consume more technology, so we get business. So this is going to take time, but there will be jobs. You don't have to worry. You have to be patient for quite some time. But at the same time, I'm going to address the effect of student life and effect of COVID on student life and tell you how you can be prepared for this scenario. As far as the curriculum is concerned, there is going to be no major change, because this scenario is not changing the technologies that are coming up. It is changing the implementation of it. For instance, if you're using a mean stack is MongoDB, AngularJS, the stack remains the same, but the implementation will change to live streaming. There'll be more companies wanting to live stream content. There'll be more companies wanting to have contactless IoT, remote collaboration sessions or technologies that facilitate remote collaboration. There'll be more of softwares coming into mental wellness, healthcare AI, and data. But technologies remains the same. You have to focus on the same technologies, but you have to look at companies that are going to excel in this, companies that are going to benefit from the situation, rather than those companies that are going to be affected with this situation. Even with us, when it comes to technologies, we have not changed the technologies we work with. We lost half of our clients from US or Australia or Europe, but we were already ready to onboard more clients than the number of clients we lost. And these clients were in the mental wellness sector, in live streaming sections. So we were doing a lot of work with AWS video live streaming. A lot of projects were live, and we got many inquiries. We had a boom in the e-commerce sector. We have expertise over there, and the healthcare AI and data sector. So understand, you don't have to worry about technologies. There is not going to be a fresh technology coming other than Java or the stacks that you're using right now. It is just the implementation that changed. Be aware of what companies are picking up. Coming back to student life, there will be some changes. For instance, if you have heard of upgrade, you'll be able to take a lot of remote courses. Education will not be, you will have to physically go into a college and take a degree. There will be remote education, and I'm not talking about Udemy, wherein there will be live courses and you can access it whenever you want it. Now, these courses, what I'm talking about, are ones that will be on a live session, like how we are communicating today. The platforms that are going to come up will be more of live interactive coaching classes, something like Upgrade. So this change will allow students to take a degree from Australia while we are sitting in Goa. I will be able to take a degree in the US while I'm sitting here, or I'm able to take a degree in GIM College. The remote courses and the degree courses there will be more offerings, so you can gather more knowledge, take education and degrees from some of the best institutes around. This is an advantage which is going to be there. So even like I take a lot of courses, but there were not many courses that I could take because there were many that they were offering. But right now, I see a lot of colleges, management colleges coming up with online marketing courses, which I'm already subscribed to. Courses that are asking me to pay as high as 3 lakhs or 3.5 lakh rupees for a 1 year degree course and stuff. I'm taking it because I can take it during my weekends, and I don't have to travel to Delhi or Bangalore to be there, to be sitting there. So this is going to be a change. Now, as a student, you need to take advantage of this. Do not rely on the existing degree that you have. Trust me, it's very important, because an engineering degree and the curriculum you have teaches you the platform of engineering, right from the network stack that you learn, and all the different basic programs which are not being implemented today. You will not see a real life implementation of it today, but yes, we need to understand from where the industry evolved. Technologies will keep changing, and you cannot cover all technologies in the curriculum, but that you need to learn and take that as a base, and make sure you take advantage of all the online courses. Go on Upgrade, go on this live courses platforms, and make sure you're the best in the technologies you pick up. It could be React, it could be a mean stack that you're learning, Angular that you're learning. There are going to be a lot of jobs for small time companies, which also includes companies like Genora, wherein the employee strength is not more than 1,000 people. So these companies are going to get a lot of outsourced work. Job opportunities will be there, but you will have to work and look for options beyond the ideal TCS only, beyond the Infosys only. There are going to be jobs there as well, but I believe it is going to impact, and you have to look at startups, fresh companies with the employee strength between 100 to 1,000. That is where the hiring is still going to happen post-COVID scenario. Now, the next topic is remote work. I think I've already addressed this. Remote work is going to increase a lot at a much faster pace, because we were compelled to work remotely because of COVID scenario. And honestly speaking, friends, we at Genora, we were much more productive than what we were earlier. Of course, the processes changed. I I was forced to take a call with my managers every day in the morning and every evening, which I was not taking earlier. We had Scrum meetings on Wednesdays and a Friday evening, but today I have to be on call on a everyday basis, and the project managers have to be on call with their second line, and then the junior developers. But the productivity has increased a lot. Remote work is being accepted at a much faster pace. One is, if you have traveled to Bangalore, if you have traveled to Pune, not Pune as such, but Mumbai, Bangalore primarily, if you see the traffic there, it is horrible. Uh, we have an office in Bangalore, and I was staying 1.5 kilometers, approximately 2 kilometers from there. Used to take me about half an hour in the peak uh, traffic times to reach the workplace, which now I'm able to reduce. If your office is about 15 kilometers, your commute time itself is about 3 to 3.5 hours. which is going to be reduced, and remote work is going to be the thing starting now. I'm not even talking about the next year. We were looking for it 5 years from now, but it is happening right now. And you have to get yourself ready to be responsible enough yourself. That is the most important thing. Not all companies will have processes. Now, that would mean that companies would evaluate you at the end of a task or at the end of a project. And if you're not self responsible, the only option companies will have will be to fire you if they are not monitoring you on a daily basis. If they are, then it's the best thing for you. If they're not, like some of the startup companies, they give you a task and wait for you to complete it till the end of the day. And if you're not responsible, it's going to be a problem. There is going to be a lot of firing. So be start understanding this, start understanding the seriousness, and be ready for it right now. Last one is impact on startups and freelancers. We already talked about freelancers. They're going to get a lot of work. They will have to be more responsible than ever, because the companies outside of India are going to be looking for outsourcing work, and this is a time wherein freelancers will get work, but they have to prove more responsible. I see a lot of companies that come from the US or Australia, and always complain about the previous companies that they were working with. And friends, if a lot of you would start your own companies, many of you will take freelance project. This is my personal advice as a service to our nation as well, and the future of our IT industry. Make sure that you accept only things that you can do and do it responsibly. There will be work, but it has to be done more responsibly. Every failed project, the client tells at least 10 other people. Every failed project drives 10 other projects that were supposed to come to India. Every successful project in the Philippines is driving 10 of these projects that were supposed to come to India, and they're driving them back to Philippines or China. So there will be work, but it is time that we have to be more responsible. Now, the most important topic, which is my favorite one, is about startups. If you look at startups, the big ones are being affected big time. We have a layoff news on a daily basis. Yesterday, 1,100 people were laid off from Swiggy, 1,100 people. And this is going to continue for a long time. But there are many opportunities when it comes to startups. Uh, Contextless technology, e-commerce is on the boom, live streaming is on the boom, medical AI and data, these technologies are on the boom. Lot of new startups are going to emerge from this scenario. A lot of you might want to do something. If you just consider Goa, there have been so many startups in the last 1 month, and so many startups that are even getting funding. We might talk about the tough scenarios here, but I know friends who have been funded in excess of 1.5 crore. May not be big. I'm talking about Goan companies, because they were having the right technologies for this scenario. Contactless technologies, e-commerce technologies. We have seen almost 400 to 500% growth in our e-commerce domain. A lot of companies want to go online because they understand the future is delivery. And I'm talking about hyper-local delivery, not Amazon or not Flipkart. A lot of these opportunities will emerge. If you do really want to follow this news, check online. There are so many portals that give you news about the startups, the funding that goes to this new kind of startups. And you could start small, and you could keep following the news out there. So that's it, friends. I'm going to end over here, and I will open it up for questions from your end. So if you have a question, just send me a text here, and I will let you take up the question from there. Ma'am, you have anything to say?
Thanks, Milind. Really important and it's a very interesting input. So I give some time for the students probably to gather their questions. But in the meanwhile, I would just want to know one thing from you. You said that we are going to go online, right? So that's the platform. And any particular platforms that the students need to be prepared with, like they should be looking at or getting themselves ready or like download, install, start working on it. Anything specific?
I'm not talking about the platform, ma'am, but I'm talking about the phenomenon that is going to come. For instance, right now, Goa government is not prepared to offer these online courses, but we have platforms like Upgrade that are tying up with educational institutes and allowing them to offer these courses online. Platforms would change. Then there need not be a specific platform, but the phenomena of offering online courses would increase. I would also see engineering colleges starting to offer online courses. IITs coming up with online courses very soon. GIM and other management colleges have already started, and in fact they had started earlier, but it is just getting catching up pace right now.
Yes. Right. Okay. And another thing, as you have said, it's become so much of an online thing, and you're not keeping in touch with your employees and clients. Uh, so the students, most of them who you are addressing at the moment are the third year students. So they've not even answered their campus interviews yet. So what do you think of that direction? Like they will be the ones who will be answering it probably next year, and I don't think that the situation is maybe hopefully it will be better. But then, do you think it's going to get online hiring, like looking into their coding competitions and things like that? Have you hired in this few months? How the scenario is going to be about that?
Yes, in the current scenario, we hired people in the last 1 month, and they were all online tests. And we have remote offices. We have it in Pune. We have presence in Bangalore. We have been hiring online right from the beginning. We had no option. However, if the number of online hiring 1 year from here, I don't think that would be because of COVID scenario. If you are able to hire in person, then you will hire in person. But if you are anyway supposed to hire offline on an online platform, then you would have you would continue. But it will not be a major change 1 year from here. But till December, yes, if any company approaches, there would be online hires.
And
But
when you have said that, right, continue.
yeah, ma'am, please go ahead.
Yeah. So, and when you said that you have to be right, it's students who have to be responsible because if you're not, then you said you will be fired. So, I believe it's something like a self-driven thing now.
You'll have to repeat your question.
You said when you spoke about companies hiring, and then you said that you're on calls almost all day long. So,
Yep.
you said that you have to be currently responsible, right? So, I think now it's becoming more of a self-driven thing rather than being monitored.
Yes, absolutely. You have when a task when you are in office, you have that environment. You have a constant work and peer pressure. There's a manager who's coming and talking to you on a daily basis.
Right.
But if you are working from home, wherein you're supposed to be in your cozy environment, but this it is the same environment you're supposed to be working now with your family.
Right.
You're supposed to set up a workplace at your home and be working there. Now this will need it need uh, the working staff to be more responsible themselves, to be self guided and
Hmm.
not wait for the first blow, not wait to be fired from your first job and then be responsible.
Right.
And that responsibility will have to come right now. I mean, you cannot be uh, driven only to wait for the exams to come. You
Right.
have to start planning yourself. You have to start. being more matured, because the number of opportunities are going to grow to a huge extent. But understand one thing, the opportunities, as per me, will grow for the best engineers, the top class engineers, the innovative ones, the self guided ones, and the opportunities will grow to the labor class. So the two segments that are going to get benefits are the one from the uh, lowest class and one from right from the top class. The middle segment, if you are just another engineer, you are going to be affected. That segment will have job cuts.
Do you have any questions from the students? Maybe?
There is one. There are two questions I have in text. I will just read out and I can answer those. So the one is from Govind Fatte. Uh, Question is, you said work from home is going to be a major thing. Satya Nadella made a statement that permanently working from home can be damaging for social and mental health. What are your views on that? I totally agree that it's a huge toll on your mental health. Personally, it's not just for the staff, but it's for the business owners as well. I used to meditate 15 minutes or 20 minutes a day. Today, I have to meditate for an hour at least to keep in that mental health that I have to be, because there's a lot of pressure, more pressure than what the staff is having right now. Situations are changing. You have to be adapting. This is going to be a thing, and as humans, we adopt to things. We will adapt to this thing as well. The phase shift is going to be difficult. You will need to be more dependent on the experts who will have to help you, and you'll have to be open to it. There are times when I have consulted experts in this domain if I have to improve my mental well, but you cannot change it. If Satya Nadella has made a statement and it's true, we all know it, but there is nothing you can do about it. Wait for uh, the normal human skills to adapt to changing scenarios, and we will all be good. Okay, the next question is from Aditya. So he's asking, what problems did you face during the implementation, during lockdown implementation, and how did you overcome them? Well, working, shifting 100. Guys, I think someone has switched on the audio. I request you to please switch off your audio. Okay. So Aditya is asking, what are the challenges that we faced? Uh, it was a major task and major challenge to shift 100% working from home. Even right now, we are 100% working from home, and we don't intend to open anytime soon, going and working from physical office. We, I would say, we judged this scenario when the first case was registered in the US, and that is when we were almost certain. We started preparing almost 3 weeks in advance before the lockdown was announced, and we were already working from home when the lockdown was announced. We were all prepared, but companies did face a lot of problems. A lot of them had reduced productivity. We arranged for everything in advance, but there were problems. But to answer your questions, we were good because uh, we prepared right from the time when the first case was there in the US. Next question is from Karthik. Uh, if remote working is expected in future, will that negatively or positively impact the management position or management jobs? There is going to be more managerial responsibilities, Karthik. Right now, our managers are working twice their capacity because they have to take calls with every resource. Understand how human brain works. If I don't plan myself for the next day, then I am I'm not even 30% productive for the day. This is after me working for 10 years, being into this business and heading the company. And we have to now understand this problem with the staff as well. Every day before we end our task, we have to take a daily progress and plan for their next day. Because before they sleep, we have to get this timetable in their heads for what are they going to work on the next day. Then the next day morning, we have to start the cycle of working. So we have to give the trigger, which was not necessary. Earlier trigger is when you moment you sign in, moment you log in, your brain starts working. You have an environment. But right now those triggers have increased. So managerial jobs, you will have to do a lot of work, and there'll be more managers needed than ever before. And of course, the real estate costs are decreasing. So you imagine in Bangalore or Pune, if, as I was saying, 10% of the companies, say 50% of our staff will be working from home, the major 10% companies, then you will see empty streets, you will see empty real estate everywhere. Even residential real estate will be affected a lot. People will be scattered across the country back to their homes. This will reduce the cost impact for the companies. Companies will have lesser overheads, much lesser overheads. So you try and understand the fact that if we have to manage a company like ours, if you have to manage 50 people, the company needs a 24-hour security service, internet service, high powered internet service, backup, catering, all sort of things. Our costs are reduced by about 30%, and that cost will be invested into hiring more managerial jobs. So it's going to possibly impact them. Next question is from Aditya. He's saying, as a startup, what are the things we have to look for now post COVID situation? Aditya, I think I've already answered this question. You have to be updated with the news, upcoming technologies, upcoming implementation of the technologies, not the technologies itself. Uh, there is going to be a little bit of a slowdown on the investment because investors are a little not sure about how to go about things. Although they have money, they're just waiting for the right time. And this is also a right time for new startups to come in. A lot of big players will collapse under their own weight, and a lot of new players will emerge. And you have to start now. Now, in this situation, when you have to be ready with your prototypes, when you have to be ready with some implementation plans, make it a success and give it in the hands of the people right now, because people don't have a choice. If you give them a solution that stops them from going out, then they're forced to use it. They may not be forced to use it 1 year from now. Of course, it will be easy for them. The challenges will be lesser, but not that easy 1 year from now. So, simple advice for startups is they have to start, and in a year's time, even the investment scenario will pick up. So I think these are the questions for now. There are no other questions coming up. Ma'am, over to you. Maybe you can take over. Melina, ma'am, are you there?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah. Yeah, these are the, I don't have any other.
40 minutes. Yes. In a span of 40 minutes, you've given us really interesting input. I'm sure our students have to ponder over these. And the most important thing what you have said is it's a self-driven
Ma'am,
opportunity.
I'm not able to hear you clearly. Can you please be a little louder?
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, Milind?
Yeah, better now. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Right. So, yes, in a span of 40 minutes, you've given us a really good lot of inputs, I would say, something that our students definitely need to ponder over. And most importantly, it's a self-driven opportunity, of course, which we wouldn't have got if times were different. So I think that's something that everybody needs to grab. So on behalf of your own college, GC, on behalf of Computer Engineering Department HOD Dr. Lakshmi Narayan, and very especially on behalf of the Cursor Council, I thank you firstly for readily accepting this request. So when the students came up with this request of having a online webinar, trust me, the first person that came to my mind is you, because I have been following a lot of other videos and work that you do. I may not get enough time to, watch them through, but yes, the enthusiasm shows. So Milind has been my student. I just told him in the morning, 10 years back, and the enthusiasm started then when he was still in college, and it shows even till today. And this is not his first webinar during COVID-19 times. He has done a lot of them. This is just one of them, right? So thank you, Milind. Thank you very much for being here with us, despite your very busy schedule. And we hope we will see more of you maybe soon.
My pleasure, ma'am. It's always my pleasure to be connected with my college in any way possible. Guys, just one last advice that I would give to all the students, aspiring engineers right now, would be don't be too much stressed about the situation. The stresses in this situation will keep coming throughout your career. What is most important is to be happy, to be doing something and not being affected. So be aware. Awareness will lead you to take the right steps, and right steps will lead you to right results. Awareness is important, but at the same time, being worried is not going to help. I am giving you one simple formula: be the best in the technology that you are interested in. Nobody and nothing will affect your future. That's it. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am, for having me. It's, as I said, it's a pleasure
Thank you.
connecting with you and my college anytime. And all the best.